Hi, Akshay.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yes. Uh, I, where did we stop yesterday?
Ma'am, yesterday we did like types of hormones, like hormones like something like that. We did. After that, we did
Okay.
those questions. That session got over. We did those questions we were doing.
Hmm.
Like those questions we did. And then that's all. That's all.
Okay. Let me just open the next session.
Yes, ma'am.
We are supposed to start with the different types of this one. What is it called? Hormones. So I hope you remember which of the hormones were growth promoting.
Auxin, gibberellin,
Hmm? That's it.
and some two more. And ethylene, something was both promoting and inhibiting.
Okay. What was only inhibitor?
Abscisic acid.
Okay. Good. I'm glad you remember that.
It's like,
Stop playing with your Rubik's now.
yes, ma'am, almost done, ma'am. It's like become an addiction now. Like after
Yeah.
so
So
long,
let's stop
I
it.
found it somewhere and I started doing it again.
Huh. Okay. So first, when we talk about auxin, as we already saw that it is a indole derivative. Okay. It's
Yes,
an
ma'am.
indole acetic
And
acid.
this thing is adenine derivative, you know.
Yes. So you will see this term again and again called IAA.
Mm. Oh yeah, that means
Called
it's a distinct name, a UPAC name or something.
yes,
Indole
IAA is the
something
indole acetic
acid.
acid.
Acid,
Yes.
yeah, correct.
It's a commonly seen auxin.
Mm.
Okay, so you need to know about it. Okay, auxin, the word itself in Greek means to grow.
Auxin means to grow.
Yes, yes. Okay, so let's see like how this auxin thing started. So first, Darwin was doing an experiment with a plant called as canary grass.
Whoa.
Okay, so when they did this, this one particular thing, okay, they found out that the coleoptile tip will sense the light. Now, what is this coleoptile? So, coleoptile is nothing but
Oh, ma'am, we know
a
it, ma'am, it is
covering.
present in this thing. It is the covering of the plumule in a monocot plant.
Yes, exactly. It's a covering of the plumule.
In
Okay.
monocot plant.
Yes, yes. So, plumule, it
A sheath of
covers.
something, polyar cells or something. It is no
What is the one that covers a radical?
Coleorhiza.
Hmm.
Correct, no, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct, correct.
Oh,
Okay.
suddenly your went off like, So I
Yeah.
thought one
So,
major mistake I made.
no, no, you didn't. Okay. So what happened was they did this experiment. Okay.
Mm,
So what they did is they took the coleoptile, okay, and
mm,
focused a light towards it. So it was like wherever the light was, the coleoptile was bending towards it. See this
mm,
image, no, here. So first will be the bending of the coleoptile when it is exposed to the light. Okay. Now what they did
mm,
is they cut the tip of this coleoptile. So when
mm,
they cut this tip of this coleoptile, okay, when they focused the light, there was no bending.
mm,
Okay. Then what they did is on this tip, or what they kept a cap-like structure, a opaque cap-like structure, and
mm,
again focused the light.
mm.
Again, there was no bending.
Ma'am, coleoptile will be very small, no, ma'am, microscopic.
When I say coleoptile, you can say the shoot tip.
Hmm.
That is the coleoptile region, basically, we are talking about.
So, ma'am, first they put on shoot tip, they basically put light generally, nothing happened to the plant.
No, the plant was bending towards the light. This is the
Hmm.
case. See here.
Ma'am, we
So
learned
you
this
have,
last time, no, ma'am. If it bends towards light, it's called something. If it bends towards earth, it's called something.
Yeah, tropism, that is different. Now we are
That
not
is
talking
fluid.
about tropism.
Hmm.
We are talking about auxin's influence. Okay, so
Hmm.
first you have to understand that when there was light, the tip of the shoot alone was bending towards the light.
Hmm.
Now I'm cutting off the tip. Only the remaining shoot is there. That time there was no bending.
Hmm.
Now to this particular cut one, I am putting one opaque, like, or even for the normal one, I'm putting an opaque covering. So what is happening is when I'm putting an opaque covering, and I'm passing through the light will not hit the root tip. Yes or no? So since the light is not, shoot tip, it's not hitting, again, it will not bend. The next case I am going to do is, instead of putting an opaque cover, I am going to put a transparent cover. Like this. So when I put a transparent cover, there was a bend that was seen. So these are the different cases. First, when for the normal shoot tip, when the light was exposed, the tip of the shoot was bending towards the light. Second case, I'm cutting off the tip of the shoot and exposing it to the light, but no bending. Third is I'm putting a cap which is very opaque so that light can't enter into it. Okay.
No
Such
bending.
kind of a cap, again, it is not bending. But when I am putting a transparent, wherein the light can pass through it, that time there is a bend at the tip of the curvature.
So it needs that outer cap coleoptile. So without it, no bending.
That is not the case. No, wait. We have not yet come to the conclusion. You understood what all are happening?
Yes, ma'am. See, ma'am. Normally, if they put light, it's bending. If they cut the coleoptile tip and they put light, it's not bending. If they put opaque cap on that cut portion, I think, or cut portion or without cut portion, ma'am.
Yeah, irrespective of if it is an opaque cap, it doesn't matter. It is not bending.
If it's transparent cap, it's going full towards the light.
Yes, yes. Okay. So they were trying to find out what were the things. Okay. Finally, they came to a conclusion. That is, Darwin, when he did the experiment with the canary grass, he came to a conclusion that it is because of the coleoptile. Okay. This was Darwin's conclusion. Okay. Now what happened was, there was another person called Wendt, W. Wendt. He used oats plant for his experiment. Okay. And that is when he brought about a test called as Avena curvature test. Okay. So Darwin, what he did, he did the experiment. Yeah, Darwin did the experiment. He just gave the conclusion saying that coleoptile is what is responding to the light. Then came Wendt. Wendt did the Avena curvature experiment with oats plant. Okay. And when he did, he was the one who said that it is not a coleoptile, but there is some chemical which is present at the tip, which is causing the bending of the tip. Okay. Now, when I say a plant is bending towards its tip, what I mean by that is that it will grow in such a way that it is like, towards the light, it will grow. So there is some growth there. It is not like it is just bending like that. It is growing and bending. Okay. Like what I'm trying to say is that, see here.
What he telling, ma'am?
See, if this is the shoot, okay. So what is going to happen is, it is going to grow slowly. It is going to take cells. The cells are going to
grow and those new things will bend.
Exactly. So when I say bending of the...
What did that guy tell?
Which guy?
Oh, the first guy.
The first guy said that Darwin was the first guy. Okay. So Darwin said that it is because of coleoptile. So coleoptile is the reason why the light is being sensed and it is growing. But it was Wendt through his, Avena curvature test, proved that it was not because of coleoptile, but there is some chemical which is involved in it. So basically what is happening? Yes. So basically this auxin is present at the tip of the cells, okay? And that what will happen, this auxins will promote the growth of the plant. And because of that, it is bending like this. Okay, did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now the next thing, you have to, I don't know why you didn't ask me this question. How is it that it is bending towards the like light side?
Auxin is, I don't know, sensitive to light or something.
How is the auxin working?
Ma'am, it will get light and it will start moving. It will be
so this is
in
what
the direction.
This is what you need to understand, okay? So if the plant is bending towards the right hand side, okay, so that means there should be growth from the back side of it. Then only it will grow slowly.
Growth will be on the left hand side, so it will bend on the right hand side.
Exactly. So now you tell me, a chemical which is responsible for the growth, should it be in the back side or should it be in the front side?
Back side, because left hand side is growing.
Exactly. Now tell me, where is the light? Is it on the right hand side or the left hand side?
Right side.
Right side.
Yes, ma'am. It's bending towards the means light will be on right.
The light is on the right side. Yes. So that means what you need to remember is auxins will always be accumulated in the shady side.
Shady region.
Okay. Remember this. Why? Because this will help you in some questions. Fine. So this was all Wendt's theory. Wendt was the one who actually discovered this. Okay. So Wendt said coleoptile is not the reason. There is some chemicals which are present on the tip of the root. Root and shoot. So that particular this is the same phenomena which is happening in root also. Okay. Like the root growth is also because of presence of auxin. Even shoot growth is also because of auxins. So when the light falls in the plant, the auxins will slowly start moving towards the shady side. And that is why it is promoting growth on the shady side. And as a result of which, the particular plant will bend. Okay. So if you see the cells there, it will look like this. The cells will just get elongated a bit more. Okay. So who discovered this?
The second one was Wendt. Fritz, H or W.
Yeah. Who said that this growth is because of a chemical? Darwin or Wendt?
Wendt.
Okay. Is this concept clear?
Full clear.
That is how auxins came into play.
Yes.
Okay. Now we have auxins which are naturally present in the plants. Some are also synthesized. That is, they can be artificially produced. Okay. So you talk about natural, this one, the IAA I told you, no? Indole acetic acid. That is an example of natural auxin. Okay. This question was asked. Which of the following is a natural auxin? So IAA was the answer there. So please remember, indole acetic acid, indole butyric acid, and chloroindole acetic acid.
Yes.
All these are natural auxin. Okay.
What?
Indole acetic acid, indole butyric acid. These are all natural auxins. That is naturally present in plants. You can get them from plants. You don't need to artificially synthesize them in a laboratory condition. But if you're synthesizing them in laboratory condition, those are naphthalene acetic acid, NAA.
Naphthalene acetic acid, laboratory, or natural acetic acid is indole acetic acid and indole butyric acid.
Yes. Other than naphthalene acetic acid, there is dichlorophenoxy acetic acid, trichlorophenoxy acetic acid.
Ma'am, I know this acid formula, structure and all. I've learned in chemistry.
Very good, Ra. Okay. But now you just remember which is synthetic, which is natural. Okay.
These days I'm becoming a pro, no, ma'am.
I know. Yeah. Very good pro.
I tell you, our school is conducting pre-board 3 and pre-board 4.
Yes. You told me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today they were telling about how bad our class is. Even in online exam, we couldn't do well in physics.
Oh, so sad.
Like our physics teacher was telling, like, we have a new physics teacher.
Mm.
We're telling like new means like she's the oldest teacher in school. Like she's been there since beginning of school, but she didn't teach us. We had our own
Okay.
physics teacher who was so bad. Then she went off.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
teacher came for us now only since lockdown, like last year.
Oh,
She was like, "What have you done in exam?" Like all of us wrote online exam, and still we managed to like do very bad in physics. So she's
very
like,
nice.
she's like, I don't even know how you guys flunk your online exams. Offline, I understand. She's like, and we were like, our teacher's very, very strict in corrections.
Mm. Just blame it on the teachers. You don't bother to correct yourself. Huh?
Oh, ma'am, teacher is very nice, ma'am. Too good.
Yeah, 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 yeah. De. Okay, listen now. So when you talk about auxin, you have different types of auxin. You have natural auxin, synthetic auxin. As I said, the examples are important.
Hmm.
When I say important, please make sure you're learning this. I'll send you the
Examples
PPT
are
after
full
the
important.
class. Enada?
Examples are full important.
Yes.
Full,
This
ma'am.
particular example here is important, is what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we come to the functions of auxin. So the basic two functions of auxin is tropic movement and developmental effect.
Tropic movement and
Developmental effect.
okay, ma'am. Tropic
Okay.
movement and developmental effect.
Yeah. So like there are like two types of movement in plants generally. Okay. So
This
plants
is
move.
geotropism.
No. That is not the one. Wait,
Hmm.
let me complete. Don't jump. So what happens is that in the case of plants, they move, but they don't locomote. Okay.
Hmm.
So they have movements like, you know, of, like bending and growing and all those things. Those are movements in plants. So there are two
Hmm.
types of movement. One is called nastic movement. Another is called tropic movement.
Gnostic tropic.
Yeah. So nastic is like sudden.
Hmm.
For example, you know, touch me not plant, right?
Yes, ma'am.
When you touch the plant itself, it will close itself, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that take time or it's a fast process?
It's a moderate process.
Yes, but when you compare it with a plant bending and growing towards the light, which is a faster process.
Plant bending and growing towards the light. Touch me not is obviously the faster process.
Exactly. So that movement wherein it is happening quicker is called as, or a sudden movement because of some sort of stimulus is called as a nastic movement.
Hmm.
Okay. But the slow growth towards certain stimulus, that stimulus can be water, or it can be the gravity, or it can be the light, or it can be any sort of nutrient. According to that, you have different tropic movements.
Hmm.
Okay. So when I say phototropism, if the plant is going, like if the stimulus for the plant's growth is light, then it is phototropism.
If the
Stimulus, that is
hmm.
a plant can go, say for example, sunflower and all, it will grow towards the light.
Yeah.
Those kind of plants that move towards the light and grow, those are
Positive phototropism.
phototropism. Yes, those that move away from the light and does not require that much light, those are negative phototropism.
Yeah.
That concept, you know, right?
Last year or before last
year. 11th only.
11th.
So gravitropism is nothing but geotropism. That is your gravity.
Like, because of force of gravity.
Yeah. Okay. So if you see in a plant, the stem shows positive, negative geotropism, and root shows
positive geotropism, but stem shows positive phototropism, root shows negative phototropism.
Exactly. Okay. Then other than this, you have chemotropism also, wherein for like, you know, the roots will go towards the chemical and the water. Hydrotropism is also towards the water. So roots are the ones who needs chemicals and water. No. So when they'll keep on going towards that. So therefore that is positive hydrotropism or chemotropism. Okay. So when you talk about auxin is responsible for tropic movements. That means movements which are not fast or sudden. they take some time to happen. Okay, so phototropism, geotropism, all these things come under tropic movements. Okay, now, so yes, we have already discussed this positive, negative and all. I think you are very well aware of it. Okay, other than that, auxins also is involved in certain developmental, this one. So what are these developmental effects we will see? Okay, so first one is root initiation.
Root.
Root initiation. Okay, so root initiation means the growth of the root. That is happening because of auxin.
Root initiation is because of auxin.
Yes. Okay. So even if you know lateral roots and adventitious roots and all, no?
Yes, ma'am.
What are adventitious roots?
From one main root, so many branches and all come.
No, that is not adventitious root.
That's fibrous root. Adventitious is also root a type of root. No, there is tap root, fibrous root. Ma'am.
What's adventitious? This is very important.
Ma'am, tap root is there.
I'll give you the example. Banyan tree.
Oh, ma'am, prop roots.
Prop roots and stilt roots are actually types of adventitious roots. No.
Many roots are there, no?
No, da. Any roots that grow on any other part of the plant other than where it is supposed to grow is called adventitious root.
Yes, ma'am. Correct. Any from non-root part. Correct.
Exactly. Okay. So all those that growth is because of auxin. Yeah. Then flowering also starting is because of auxin.
Flowering starting is because of auxin.
Yeah.
So root growth, flowering is because of auxin.
Yeah. Apart from that, you also have delay of abscission.
What is that, ma'am? Delay. Parthenocarpy, I know development of fruit from any other part of the plant is called parthenocarpy.
Where is parthenocarpy? I am discussing one thing. Now he'll jump into the next one. Wait, go one by one. Okay. Delay of abscission. So we saw that abscisic acid is something that stops the growth. It promotes abscission. So when I say abscission means it is basically cutting of things or falling of things. So your leaves wilting from the tree is abscission. Okay, the shedding of leaves, the shedding of fruits, flowers, all these things are abscission. So once the fruit or flower or leaf sheds from the tree, that means it's not going to grow anymore, correct?
Correct.
But auxin is a hormone which will make sure growth is happening. So what it will do, it will work against, so it will make sure that abscission is not happening or it will delay.
It will work against the wilting basically.
Yes, it will make sure that abscission is delayed till it grows.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise think, no, if there is no auxin, what will happen is anytime, even before the plant matures, everything can fall off the plant.
Yes.
That's like telling before we grow itself, we'll die.
Okay.
So that is delayed by auxin. Then next is vascular differentiation. You remember we learned about differentiation?
Differentiation, dedifferentiation. Meristematic tissues become permanent tissues by differentiation. That will again become meristematic tissue by dedifferentiation, and it will again become permanent tissue by redifferentiation.
Very good. So in that, when the differentiation is happening and xylem and phloem is formed, that process also is controlled by auxin. Okay. So parthenocarpy also are these artificial auxins are there? No, we can use that to promote, growth of seeds, seedless fruits, basically. Okay. So parthenocarpy also, it helps. Then next is the feminizing effect. So when I say feminizing effect, the ability to convert male flowers to female flowers.
Ability to convert male flowers. Ma'am, what you can do all that though?
Yeah, we can do all that. Because it will help in the growth of stigma, style, like that.
Okay, ma'am. Plants
Yeah.
are too compared to us. So
They're too
modern.
cool, no? They are.
That's what. How can do? We can't do anything.
I know. What? Okay, choose the correct statement.
Choose the correct statement. Roots exhibit positive gravitropism. Correct.
Okay.
First one. Roots exhibit positive. Correct. A and C.
Okay.
Ma'am, what, ma'am? We are in one of intelligence, but
Yeah,
in
I
such
know. I know.
marks in
I
need.
know.
So
I
it's
know. I
important
know.
such primitive questions also. Because in such easy questions, only overconfidence will lose off mark.
I
To me,
know.
lose for sure in
Okay.
these questions.
One more thing I'll tell you about. You studied about tissue culture, no?
Tissue
In
culture.
strategies chapter.
Yes, ma'am.
That last page, you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Totipotency and all you learned.
Cryopreservation.
Yeah, yeah. In that, you would have learned a term called explant.
The undifferentiated part of the callus or something is called explant.
So explant is nothing but what they take as explant is a part of the tissue, plant's tissue. No, which
Plant
tissue
takes
do they generally?
any
So
part
which?
of the plant for tissue culture is called explant. No.
Yeah, but that is the thing. So now I can't take randomly any part and grow it. Okay, the
Meristem.
best suitable. Yeah, meristem lay, which is best suitable if they ask, it is the apical meristem.
That's what apical shoot present in shoot apical
Yes.
meristem.
By
Because that only continuously grows, no ma'am.
no, that is not the only reason. There's one more reason.
It shows positive phototropism.
No.
Then
See, what happens is that this presence of auxin at the tip of the root or the shoot, okay, will prevent any pathogens from affecting the plant. Like at that particular region. So the plants can get easily affected from any other part. But at the top, the fungal accumulation, all these things, the chances are very, very low because of the presence of auxin. Okay. So therefore, what will happen is if you are getting any a plant from the like from the tip of this one as an explant, then what will happen? The plant that you're going to cultivate is going to be healthy.
So what is
and
the
it will be
reason?
disease free. See, I'm randomly taking a plant. I don't know if that plant is affected with some disease or not. Later on, it grows and then I am cultivating it on large scale. What if it is affected with some disease and the rest of the all the plants get affected?
Gone.
Gone only. No, as a farmer, I'm lost. No.
Gone.
So,
So as a
yeah,
you have
definitely.
to
Yes. So you need to be very, very careful when you are choosing the explant.
Yes, ma'am.
The concept is just like if I take some random unhealthy egg and unhealthy sperm and try to fuse them in vitro condition, it is not necessary that the fertilization will be successful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I take some healthy sperm donor or healthy ovum, the chances are more, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Same as the concept with plants.
I
don't know, when it comes to plants, we never are able to relate. But most of their cases is very similar to us.
Ma'am, but we are not able to relate, ma'am. Plants are just too cool for us. But we are feeling good. We are dumbly.
Okay. So now we are coming to apical dominance. Again, this terminology is important. Okay. Apex means on the top.
Apex predator.
Yes, apex is the peak or the top. Okay.
Yes.
So apical dominance means whenever your the apex is there, that is the the apical bud is there. Okay, the bud which is present at the top or of the this one plant is apex of the plant is called apical bud. Okay. Whenever the apical bud is present, lateral buds will not be produced.
When apical bud is present,
lateral buds will not be produced.
Meaning,
see here in this image. Okay. So can you see there is an apical bud on the top?
Yes, ma'am.
So because of that, if you see the plant has like very less lateral buds. Like 1, 2, 3. Yes? Yeah. Now what I am doing is I am removing this apical bud.
Auxin.
Yeah, when I'm removing the apical bud, what is happening? There are a lot of lateral buds. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this concept wherein the presence of apical bud stops the growth of the lateral buds is called as apical dominance.
The
and
concept
who is the culprit? Yeah.
Presence of apical bud stops the growth of lateral buds is called apical dominance.
Yes. And who's responsible for it?
Auxin.
Auxin, yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, here is a example for apical dominance, growing from the tip. So here, see, if you see this heterophylla, no, the plant which is on the left hand side. See this one.
Yeah,
okay.
ma'am.
So here you can see a lot of lateral branches and buds.
Yeah.
But here, if you see, look, no, everything is from the top.
Like
no lateral buds.
That's basically more apical. No lateral.
Yeah, and it looks like someone is crying, no? So that's why it's called as weeping larch.
Whoa. Yeah. Always.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the reason? So it's showing this apical dominance. There should be some reason, right? Okay. What is the reason behind it is the taller plants, like they receive more amount of light. Okay. So what happens is that if the plant is growing taller, okay, when the plant is growing taller and taller, it is receiving more amount of light to perform photosynthesis. Okay. So do you think there should be more lateral branches or less lateral branches?
Taller what?
Like if as a plant grows taller, okay, the amount of light it receives for photosynthesis is more.
Okay.
So what is the relation between apical dominance and this?
If only apical dominance is present, I think it will receive less light because it will completely cover it.
Logic is correct. Anything else?
Nice logic, no?
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know.
Other than that, you don't know. That is actually the correct one also.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Smart you have become now.
Becoming a pro at biology.
Yeah. I just want to check this Agent Orange Vietnam War.
1 second. 1 second now. Hello, ma'am.
So basically, the thing is that as the plant is growing taller and taller, so it needs energy to grow taller and taller. Okay. So when like it can't use up all the energy just for photosynthesis purpose, right? So it makes sure that in order for the plant to grow taller and not be short and only the lateral buds to be grown. Okay. What happens is that the plant is basically showing apical dominance.
Wait, ma'am, what? Why is it showing apical dominance?
Once again, I'll show you that picture again. Then we will discuss. It will be a little more clear. Yeah. So if you see here in this picture, like when you talk about this Heterophylla and weeping larch, no, which is taller?
This thing, Heterophylla.
Yes, exactly. So why is Heterophylla taller? Is like because it was able to like grow like actually. No. There is something wrong here. Are you? Is this marking wrong or is this thing wrong? Just a second. Let me check the other file. 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
So basically, it is trying to, amongst different plants, that particular plant, whichever is growing straight and showing apical like dominance, is basically trying to get more light, grow more taller, and amongst the other short plants. So that is the whole point. So I think
No.
the one that is marked here is wrong.
What, ma'am?
The picture that is marked as apical dominance, no, is
Hmm.
wrong. It's wrong there. That is why I got confused. Taller plants will have apical dominance. Shorter plants, I don't know. Weeping larch has apical dominance. Doesn't make sense to me.
Weeping what, ma'am?
Weeping larch. Excuse me.
Ma'am, weeping large is this thing, the tall one.
Oh no, weeping larch is the one which is weeping.
That's what, ma'am. Wait. I searched. Ma'am, weeping larch is the crying one.
Yes, I know.
Apical dominance is showed in that plant, Heterophylla.
Atrophylla. No, yes, that's what I was thinking. What is wrong? But it is marked wrong here. No.
Oh.
See this image. I was just confused a bit. That's why. See here, it says apical dominance. Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed this arrow here. So confusing. Why will they confuse like this? Shit, man, shit. Okay, yes. So now I'll tell you what it is. Okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't notice this particular arrow. Yeah. So basically, what happens is that when there is a group of trees like this, so many trees are there. Okay. What happens is some plants will not be able to get enough sunlight. Okay. So now what will happen is these plants have to grow taller and taller. Some plants will grow taller, right? Now,
Fine.
how can they grow taller if they are growing wider? Tell me, no. So, like, if this is a plant and it is having many lateral branches, okay. So, what will happen is it will grow wider only. No, it will not grow taller. Now, for it to grow taller and taller, what should happen? These lateral branches should not be formed. Correct or not?
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Ma'am, if there is too many lateral, it can't become tall, ma'am. All green will be
Exactly.
wider and wider, but it will never become tall. It will be in that same height.
Exactly.
To become
Yes,
tall, we
it
need
will
to
be.
lateral this thing.
Yes.
Only.
So what happens is that what it will do is it will make sure that the lateral buds are not grown. So the apical dominance is seen in Heterophylla. That is an example. Okay. Whereas weeping larch is apical dominance is not seen. Okay, so that's the whole concept here. Okay. Otherwise, weeping larch also will not be weeping. It will grow taller actually
Isn't
if it has apical dominance.
apical
Huh?
dominance means apex.
Ep-
So lateral buds won't be there.
yes, correct. Lateral buds will be very less in number.
But in that thing, there's lateral buds are a lot, ma'am, in Araucaria heterophylla.
That is what. So it's not compared to what is in weeping larch. It is less only, Noda.
Weeping larch looks like a man inside, like dressed up like that.
Exactly. That is the concept here. Okay. So I hope you understood the importance of apical dominance. This way they can grow taller and they can get enough sunlight for their photosynthesis purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
Now come to yes. So this Agent Orange. Okay. Agent Orange is a combination of this phenoxyacetic acid and triphenoliacetic acid. We learned these names. Where did we learn them?
Ma'am, both of them are organic auxins.
Organic auxins.
Occurring auxin.
They're synthetic auxins, no?
No, ma'am, natural, no.
Synthetic or
artificial.
Artificial, yes. So what happens is that, like during the Vietnam War that happened long ago, okay. So during that, they used this combination of auxins, okay, and they made something called as Agent Orange, okay, and this was used to basically kill the all the weeds in on the surroundings, but it also affected certain good healthy plants also. So it was used in Vietnam War as a tool or a weapon, like the chemical war, right? They say, right? So that in that process they use this Agent Orange as a thing. Okay, so that's just a, did you know that's just a practical application where they used auxins. Apart from that, auxins are also good energy boosters for us.
Or like
for
pollen
the
grain.
plants. No. Okay. So we come to gibberellins. Okay. Like pollen grain, yes. Pollen grain kum auxin kum connection kadayadu.
I don't like pollen grain. Auxin is like source of energy for us.
Okay. Like that. Fine. Now we come to gibberellins. So auxins you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
What all you understood in auxins?
Ma'am, you ask me question like that.
No, you tell me whatever you learned today, no?
Okay. Ma'am, see, auxin, growth. It helps in growth. Natural is those, these things. Two were there, no?
Give me one natural acetic acid.
No. 3 acetic. Iodine acetic acid. Indole acetic acid. And then natural, artificial is those phenoxy, all of those. And then we look how they help in growth.
What is the full form of NAA?
N?
AA.
Ma'am, give 4 options.
Like, 4 options are not like one.
Okay,
it's a type of auxin. It's a synthetic auxin.
Acetic acid something.
What acetic acid?
N-phenyl acetic acid.
Naphthalene phenyl acetic acid. See, phenyl, naphthalene acetic acid.
And then we learned that how bending of plant.
Whose experiment was that?
Ma'am, see, ma'am, first was Darwin, but he just told it because of coleoptile. Then, what is his name? Second guy, Fritz H. something. H something. Wendt
is the name you need to remember.
And then he told that it's some particles present on it. And then
what is a test called? Wendt's test was called something, some curvature. What curvature?
Oh, Awener
curvature. Okay. Then Yeah. What are the different functions of auxins?
Growth, mainly growth.
Growth in what all? You can't just write growth, okay? You need to know the specific ones. You can't escape from that.
Uh, mm, Ma'am, give options.
We will learn so many. I'm not giving you options and all for this. Laina, we learned so many. What were they?
Yes, geotropism, phototropism, all of
What
those.
is that tropism called? Like what it is? How is auxin responsible?
Bending of plant.
You should say tropic movement.
Tropic movements.
Then what is the other one? Other, like there are a set of things we learned.
Apical dominance.
It is not responsible for apical dominance.
Okay. Other things we learned. Ma'am, I know everything we learned, but I don't know how to match it with uses.
It is basically helps in cell elongation. It delays abscission.
Okay.
At least two you can state. No. It helps in flowering, parthenocarpy.
Okay. Oh, like that. Oh, all of those. Abscission,
Yeah,
it
that
delays
is not the function.
wilting of flowers. Wilting of leaves.
Okay. Tomorrow when you're coming for the class, no, read the textbook of this part and come.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm very serious. Read this and come, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Pakka.
Let's see then. I'll meet you then tomorrow, okay? We'll start gibberellins tomorrow. This function first you learn and come, and then we will learn gibberellins. Gibberellins. See, I will send a copy of this to you. So you can use this also as a reference.
Yes, ma'am.
There's some things which are not there in your textbook here. It is there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye. Left side wire kutna. Ready. Ready.